Welcome back, everyone. In this video, I'm going to go through some Microsoft 365 questions that might be asked if you were landing a job in something like a system engineer or end user computing role. Some of these questions might just come up with if you are looking for a Microsoft 365 role, basically any type of role, such as engineering or support or maybe even architect, you will probably come across some 365 requirements. So in this video, is going to break down some of the very common questions you will hear in the Microsoft 365 interview or one of those roles such as systems engineer or a desktop support analysis or something like that. Before we get started, if you are interested in all things tech, all things uh, Microsoft Azure, Microsoft 365, all things cloud, and maybe just a bit of tech fun. Also, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to release lots of videos now about what I've seen in the IT industry and just general tech sort of fun. So before we get into the video, please take 3 seconds to hit that like button, maybe subscribe if you are interested in seeing more videos. So let's go as Microsoft 365 makes it they break down more and more into people's technology stacks and organizations where um, they may be been using on-premises Exchange server. So they might have been using a suite or maybe some free mail provider in the past. You'll notice that lot more of these companies are looking for engineers or support personnel that have that experience in Microsoft 365. So the knowledge requirements around Microsoft 365 can be very fast. It can be a quite massive tech stack to learn. And if you're inside the environments uh, day in, day out, you really need to know what is going on and what services and applications are being used within their Microsoft 365 subscription and tenant. So that you know how to support them and you know how to answer questions from their users and from other organizations that you may be interacting with. So in order for organizations to give their users and their staff the best experience, they'll be looking for people like have those Microsoft 365 skills to support the environment and to better understand the way that they can be used to help you understand better the questions that may come up within a Microsoft 365 interview or in a Microsoft or in a or for a Microsoft engineer role or something like that. So let's go through some of the questions that I've asked candidates and that I've asked as a candidate number one. What is Microsoft 365? Is a very simple question, but with many different type of answers, the interviewer will give this question as it's quite broad and it lets you answer in many different ways. The way I suggest answering it may be describing what sort of applications and services are available in Microsoft 365. Maybe give the interviewer a bit of breakdown of what you have done in 365 and maybe go back to the roots and maybe refer to it being a SaaS service. That question is quite broad and it's really just trying to get you to talk about Microsoft 365 and maybe drop some of those keywords like SharePoint Online and OneDrive for business, Exchange Online. Maybe refer back to your experience in the field and where you used an on-prem version of that technology. So maybe if you are used Exchange on premises, you will talk about now Microsoft 365 replaces that service using Exchange Online. Can you name some products within the Microsoft 365? So name some products. So this is a very simple question. What the interviewer is looking for is looking to see if you have true experience in Microsoft 365. So you should come out and say things like Exchange Online, OneDrive for Business, SharePoint Online. I would also go as far as giving some examples so of what they can do. So for example, you might say Exchange Online is a service in Microsoft 365 and it's used for Exchange email and it replaces on-premises Exchange technology. So can you name and describe licenses uh, some Microsoft 365 licenses. So Microsoft 365 licenses can be very tricky. The interview at this point is probably not looking for you to give an exact answers, because usually licensing is driven by partner, by a licensing license specialist. So what they are looking for is maybe something more like around the lines of where you can acquire Azure ADP1 licensing, as in from where inside the portal, and what sort of services that you give, that will give you. So uh, I'll maybe given an example saying to use Azure Active Directory conditional access, you will need Azure, you need Active Directory P1 licensing. Those are the sort of examples that we are looking far. So maybe just prepare before you enter, have a look at some licensing licenses and see what's available and see what special features certain license will give you. Another example will be EMS Enterprise Mobility and Security. You can give an example saying that can be extra add-on or it can be included in your Microsoft 365 license. So I think that's a good example, because that that one is that people get really hung up on. Maybe you can do a bit research before you enter and have a look and see what you can understand from EMS licensing, M365 admin portal. How do you get to the admin portal for Microsoft 365? So for someone who worked in this day and they can straight off the top of their head, and I need to go to admin.microsoft.com. But for someone who might be in an interview and still be at the maybe entry level of Microsoft 365 and want what the interviewer is trying to get from you. So where is your experience, and how much experience do you have in there? Do you know where to go to create a new user in Microsoft 365? For an example, so this is this one you might not get straight away, but at least you can show the interviewer that you understand there is an admin portal, and that's where you would administer users and groups, etc. So that would be a good enough answer. uh, no interviewer is going to deduct points from you for not knowing the URL off the top of your head. So what is AAD? What is Azure Active Directory? This is very common question. I think a lot of people still maybe don't understand. What is Azure Active Directory? Is that entry level? Lot of interviews will have experience in on-premises Active Directory, and if you haven't got much experience in 365, you might think that Azure Active Directory is literally just a copy inside Microsoft 365. That is true in some sense, but it's more of a one-way sync from your on-premises environment to Microsoft 365, and it's more a flat architecture. So it's important to understand what the difference between on-premises Active Directory and an Azure Active Directory. So maybe do a bit of research and give yourself a bit better understanding. I would recommend definitely bringing up Azure Active Directory Connect and let the employee know how actually understand what is AD Connect. Does it actually synthesize your objects that you specify on all other objects in your on-premises Active Directory to Azure Active Directory? Maybe just makes note of some of the type of objects that it doesn't sync as well. What is the highest level permission in Azure ID? So this question is about the permissions and the identity access management in Azure ID, where is a lot of roles available in Azure ID, including privileged roles. But maybe to better understand where you experience is, the interviewer might ask you what the highest level of permission is, if you see to see if you understand or you had experience with the structure inside Azure Active Directory roles. Answer is one would be obviously global administrator. I think that if you give that answer, you would probably do well with that question, maybe. But maybe you could also elaborate on all the different types of roles, such as application administrator, user administrator, and helpdesk administrator. Maybe just give a bit of a breakdown of those roles, give a better understanding to the interview of your experience in Microsoft 365. So what is difference between a user, differentiate like guest users and users and the guest? This is a very common question, and I will be asking this one as well, because I feel like a lot of people still don't understand what the difference between user and the guest user in Microsoft 365. So user is obviously someone who belongs in that directory. So they part of the organization, and so generally they will have license in your tenant, and they will be an employee, or there will be a contractor or something like that. A guest is someone you may have invited. So let's say I want to share a document from my OneDrive with someone in a different organization. When I invite that person, then that person will be added to our Active Directory, our Azure Active Directory as a guest user. So it's important to understand that difference. So that you can also understand the different types of permissions applied to user and guest user, and what they uh, can do as a guest. What is litigation hold? This will sleep litigation holds up many people. Litigation hold is something like something that all organizations want, but they don't quite know what is called litigation hold. Makes sense. Makes sure that organizations always have a copy of the data that their users create or modify within their environment. So uh, for for example, if there is a litigation hold applied to a team channel, or someone deletes that channel by default, that channel is then deleted or removed from the directory. They in I think 30 days might be 92 days depending on the licensing. If I apply litigation hold to every team's channel, for example, I might apply that litigation hold for 1 year or forever. That means that users can no longer delete things within that tenant or within the Teams channel, or basically anything that is against that education policy. You can do them against Teams, Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive. This is a very common question. You probably only get asked if you are dealing with a big organization, or with a managed services provider. But it's important to understand at least what litigation hold is. So do your research and better understand that question before you enter your interview. How can I review uh, actively activity auditing something that user has done inside the directory? So for an example, how can I see whether users has done inside the SharePoint site? I want to know who deleted something from a document library, and I want to know who deleted the mail item from a mailbox. The very simple answer is the unified audit logs. I think it's important to also understand why someone would want to go in and look at those logs. So it's good maybe you understand what that unified auditing log section has in it. So if you have access to look at one look at a one have a look and understand what type of logs you can view in there for people that have never looked in there. You might be very interested in what sort of activity gets logged in Microsoft 365 as well. That's all, all for today. I hope that helps wrap up you prepare for your Microsoft 365 interview, or for your interview as an engineer with some Microsoft 365 background or experience. Let me know how to go in your job interview. Let me know if that helps, and if you like the video, please hit that like button, maybe subscribe. I'm trying to release these type of videos more often. Let me know what you think, and if you have any further questions or want to talk about any other type of roles or interview questions that might have in those roles, please let me know. Thank you.